Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Hey, X. Share some scary stories that actually happened to you or you witnessed or to someone you know. It doesn't have to be paranormal, just share something that scared you.
Not overly scary but X-rated nonetheless. Me and my GF stayed at the Brittania Hotel, PIC-related, in Manchester on the 20th of December. It was a rather sweet deal at £46 for a double room for a night. The hotel itself is an old Victorian building. It was originally a textile warehouse in 1856. During our stay we witnessed 3 events. The first being arriving back into the hotel around 7 p.m. after doing some shopping. While walking down the hallway to our room we encountered a noise that I can only describe as spooky. It was rather cliché and sounded somewhat like a wail, however much longer and drawn out so that it sounded quite melodic. There was only me and my GF in the hallway at the time and have no reason to believe it came from any room as the hallway was deathly silent until the noise happened. The second even was around 9 p.m. that evening as we prepared to go out for the night. There was a very loud slam upon our room door, almost as though someone had run into it or kicked it. I immediately opened the door thinking it was kids or someone being a tit, however once again the hallway was clear. We thought nothing of it and went out. The third event was Sunday morning around 10 a.m. before we left for the journey home. The telephone rang and I answered. There was a very loud static and a shrill child's voice that said, "Who is that?" I answered with my name, Matthew. All that followed was a lot of static which sounded progressively louder. I told my GF what was happening and she said that I need to hang up the phone. She was convinced it was a haunting. She has experienced a few things herself over the years and believes it may be a ghost of a child that worked in the building from many years ago. After looking around the internet we could find nothing or no other reports of paranormal activity at this hotel.
Be 20 years old. Go camping with friends right before I leave for boot camp. Hike a mile and a half into the woods to our normal spot on a sandbar of the Carbon River. Get to our normal spot, 2 very nice potheads are already at our fire pit. They see our tent and supplies and tell us they are leaving after the next bowl and they will keep the fire going for us. Our group consists of friend A, friend B, his dog, and friend C and myself, Anon. We set up our tent and get out the food, give 2 hot dogs to the potheads as they leave. It's about 4 p.m. We keep the fire going and chill out by the fire, swatting mosquitoes and telling jokes. 8 p.m, we can all smell something stinky. We decided to look around the sandbar for what it could be. Friend B's dog starts sniffing at what looks like a stick poking out of the ground. We go over to it and like the dumbass I am, I yank on it before even looking at what it is. It was a motherfucking dog and its leg was sticking out of the ground. Threw the dead dog to the side, all of us flipping out. It must have been buried recently, it wasn't decomposed too much. Feeling like a shithead, I bury the dog deeper this time. We all go back to the campfire and talk about other things to lighten the mood. 9:30 p.m, it's getting dark and we realized we sucked at planning. We have another hour of fire left with the wood we brought and all our phones were dead or dying. Friend B and C decide to be fuckfaces and just leave because they won't have a fire all night. Friend A and myself left with a dwindling fire, a crank-powered 12-lumen flashlight, and nothing to do but bullshit. 11 p.m. it's completely dark now and only embers are left in the fire pit. We are silent, listening to the river. It was peaceful. We feel safe seeing another fire going about a mile upstream. Refer to the picture for the next part. We hear rustling in the bush hanging over the river to our island. Probably raccoon, whatever. We shrug it off and eat melted s'mores in darkness. Hear the bush shake violently, something falls in the river like something jumped out of the bush into the water. Shine a flashlight in that direction, nothing. Large, long-strided footsteps on rocks near a dead dog. Weird out now. The flashlight is dying, cranking like a madman. A friend throws some sticks in the fire pit and pours lighter fluid on it. The 6-foot flame comes from the fire pit. It feels safe for an instant. Can see nothing on the island while it's bright. Flames die down a bit and the sticks crackle. Strange noises have stopped. We take turns going to the shore and bringing sticks back. 1 a.m. The trips to get sticks are getting to be a nuisance. Ask friend 1 if he wants to leave. No, do you anon? No, let's tough it out. We let the fire die again. 10 minutes later, those fucking steps again in a different direction. Shine light at it, nothing there, look closely. Large hunched shape wading upriver 50 yards away. It gets onto land across the river, can't see if it's on 2 legs and very hunched or all 4. It moved up the cliff and disappeared. For the rest of the night we heard noises on the island all around us, never seeing anything, both of us sitting back to back at the tent. When the noises got close we would both go over to the beach and gather wood while the other held the light and hatchet. While the fire was going the noises would stop or be far away, but as soon as it would die, whatever it was would walk near us in the pitch darkness. This continued all the way until morning. We went to talk to friend A's dad about it and he said we should never go there again. He's been in that forest and seen some strange things.
Be me, 12-year-old. Sleeping with parents in a creepy room at the back of grandma's estate. Room is independent of house. Wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. Go to the adjacent room to get a pillow. Hear a fucking demonic laugh outside. Ran back to parents' room crying. Another. Sleeping in the same bed with 2 other cousins, 1 uncle. We notice some gym machines where you pull the bar from the top is going up and down. We semi-seriously cracked jokes and wonder WTF is up. Bar is going lower every time without anything touching it. Cousin jokingly yells, "Manifest yourself." The whole heavy-ass gym machine starts moving as if someone was pushing it left and right, making a lot of noise. We shit ourselves and scream, covered with blankets. To this day I don't know if it was my uncle pranking us. He was too far from the equipment and I was next to him, so I would have noticed if he applied force to move it. It was far from him.
This story happened to me last year and I try not to think about it too much because I don't have answers and I'm not sure if I want to know the answers as to why this occurred. Last year I was having a lot of that sleep paralysis thing where when you wake up you can't move. Starts off maybe only once a month. It started getting really bad like 4 or 5 times a month. At my friend's house, and I was snoozing and then waking up because it was the morning. Sleep paralysis 3 times in a row when I wake up. The 3rd time it felt like something was there, like a presence. Can't really explain it. A week passes and I don't think much of it. One morning I wake up and sleep paralysis again. Trying desperately to kick my legs as that's normally what wakes me up. Try hard for what feels like 4 to 5 minutes. When I'm finally getting out of paralysis, I hear a man's voice yelling at me to leave. Dad wasn't home. Brother wasn't home. Mom was in the basement. Not sure if auditory hallucination or something else.
Walking home late at night after a party. Slightly drunk, but the cold is sobering. Have to walk nearly 2 hours to get home. Walking past a cornfield near a forest. No street lights, no cell phone, only the moon for company. Quiet night, feel very calm, party was decent, don't mind the walk. Rustling from the cornfield beside me. Stop and stare into the cornfield. Rustling continues, can see the stalks dividing and moving. I ain't running. Stand there and stare at the cornfield, ready for anything. A guy in dark clothes, followed by 5 others, walk out of the cornfield. I don't know them, but recognize them from the party. Nothing spoopy here, guess it's time to keep walking. Hey Anon, the lead one says. They are a year younger than me, seen some of them somewhere before. Anon, you were at Anonymous' party, right? He says as they seem to fan out around me. Yeah, I say, now fully on guard. We want your wallet and jacket, Anon. Fuck you, you piece of shit, I say almost impulsively. I'm a bit of a hothead. One of the guys, who was moving around, jumps at me and grabs me from behind. Give us your wallet, Anon, the lead guy in black yells. I am grappled from behind, loosely, but I don't like this position. Alright, just fuck off and I'll get it, I say, bluffing through my teeth. The guy lets me go, and they each have an expression on their face like they won. As soon as I am let go, I deck the guy who grabbed in the jaw as hard as I can. Loud fleshy cracking noise as he falls with his head smacking the pavement with a loud thud. The next guy beside me seems stunned and I immediately swing at him too as his friend falls. Clip his nose as he tried to duck away, the other four now yelling various things and moving towards me. Boxing experience has already kicked in, but I don't box 6v1. WTF is this shit? 5v1 now, and other kid's nose is bleeding like crazy as he backs away. 4v1 I hope. I swing at one of the other four coming at me, hitting his jaw, and he stops, but the other three are swinging at me. Hit in the head, covering up, hit again, and again. I can't sit here and clinch up, I think, as I do just that, being walloped on by four guys, bloody nose guy still recovering and jaw boy unconscious on the road still. As they begin to knee at me face, I know I need to stop clinching or I'll get knocked the fuck out and fucked up. Get out of clinch, throwing a haymaker as I do, bound to hit one of the friends. Boom in the temple, kid backs up holding his head. Another punch to the face, I can see my blood dripping off my face onto the gravel road. Just keep swinging and don't fall down. I do just that, going back and forth with the other three, one of them trying to grab me around the waist until he gets a swift elbow to the top of the head. Another punch to my face as I elbowed him, can feel a hot mess building on my face. I swing twice more at one of the other standing kids, a decent straight cross combo, both landing nicely, but he doesn't go down, just dazed. At this time only two of the guys are focused on me rather than their wounds. One of them swings above my guard and hits my eyebrow. I can feel it split. Fuck this shit, why am I fighting six guys? I turn and book it, looking behind me once to see jaw boy still on the ground, nose boy holding his nose and shaking a fist, another two holding their cheeks, while two gave chase for about 25 m until they fucked off back to their friends. Walk home another hour looking over my injuries. Favorite shirt ripped and covered in blood, blood on my shorts, and all over face, seriously lots. Get home and decide to go to hospital after looking myself in the mirror. Minor concussion, minor chipped tooth, split between my nose/eye needing 2 stitches, and a 2.5-inch split right above my eyebrow needling 4 stitches. Broke fuckboy's nose and jaw. He had to eat through a straw for a month. When I was clinched up it felt like forever, blow after blow hitting me, but it was probably only a minute, the whole thing only lasting 5 or 6. If I would have fallen down I would have been stomped into oblivion. Was fucking scary/x/files.
Not really a scary experience, but it does feel constantly threatening. I moved in with my wife a year ago. The canal runs right next to our house. Almost every night I hear screams. Most of the time it's just kids and junkies trying to fuck with people. Sometimes the screams tend to sound a bit legit. Sure enough, a month later some kid's body was found in the canal about 3 blocks down from our house. A year later, screams still persist every few nights. Every 3 months, give or take, another body is found in the canal relatively close to where we live. Bodies are always of children that go missing only a few days beforehand. Need to fucking move. I usually brush off the screams, but sometimes I try to peek out the window to see what's going on, and I always see nothing. Still scares the shit out of me though, and I'm always afraid to leave the doors unlocked or leave the house, even in broad daylight.
2 years ago. The brush fire is burning hot, but it's far away. Work night shift. Seen lots of weird crap, but this one stuck with me all this time. Be a security guard on fire watch. It's far away and nothing interesting to look at other than that ominous glow beyond the horizon. Wind is on my back. Suddenly the air is still. Everything's cold. Feel like I'm being stalked by a mountain lion or something. Screw Greentext, I need to type out some details. This is the first time I've ever talked about this beyond my coworkers. What I noticed bothered me because when I looked directly at it, it wasn't there, but when I looked slightly off it, it looked like a sphere floating in the air about 20 feet off the ground. No sound other than the distant trees being blown around, the sphere just hovered there without making a single sound. It had to be about 4 feet across, the area was poorly lit due to no power, and when I shined my flashlight in that direction, nothing illuminated. But I knew it was there. Only when I didn't look directly at it could I see its rough shape, and it was black, like the stars were missing in that spot. I kept away from it after I noticed it. I even went into the building and looked everywhere but directly at it. It just stayed there, never moving, no sound. Just quiet. I've seen enough movies to know what happens to curious security guards at night when it comes to paranormal stuff. It was a big facility and honestly I could carry on all the weird stuff I saw at that place and my coworker. These strange sightings are the only reason why I started browsing X in the first place. Weird stuff happened there and thankfully I've never seen strange things beyond there. Maybe I have an active imagination or something. But I'm certain I wasn't dreaming and I didn't know what it was. I've seen it a few times since that event, but this is the first time I saw it or noticed it.
Be me. Be 20. Love everything to do with the Cold War. Have some friends that are the same way. Go with them to explore an abandoned Nike missile complex. When we get there, it wasn't too different from any other abandoned place. Fence with barbed wire surrounding the place. Falling apart buildings with asbestos hanging through the cracked drywall ceiling. Broken glass everywhere. Every wire had been stripped of all its copper. After a while, we started to smell something. It smelled so fucking bad, we almost had to leave. I decided to get my friends to stay around and find the source of the smell. Eventually we found it. There were 3 rusted air vents coming out of the ground. We now realize that there is a bunker underneath this complex and begin searching for an exit. It turned out to be underneath the radar dome. The entrance was a deep concrete stairway going down into darkness. I head down the concrete stairs with 2 friends. The other 2 were too scared to come down, so they waited topside. I didn't blame them. The deeper we went, the stronger the scent got. As we went through the maze of dark as hell, damp, concrete walkways, we saw some fucked up graffiti and a ton of empty cans on the ground. Not just soda and beer cans, but cans of soup and other foods as well. We finally come to one room that is larger than the rest in the bunker and see a bunch of turned off lights, burnt out candles, and a fire pit. In the ceiling was a large cylindrical air vent. At the fire pit was beneath. Near the fire pit were a shitload of empty cans. We also noticed that there wasn't any more graffiti in this room. My friend starts surveying the room more, drops her flashlight, and lets out the most blood-curdling scream. The echo made it 100x worse. I rush over to see what happened. I then noticed that my flashlight had landed on the body of a dead woman, maybe in her late 20s, but it was hard to tell because she was starting to decay. Oh shit, that's what I was smelling. JPG. I started to fucking all-out panic. I tell everyone to shut up. I listen and hear breathing. Panicking, I assume it's coming from through the air vents in the bunker. We ran upstairs, got our friends, and got the fuck out of there as fast as we could. It may have just been my mind, or the fact that it was getting dark, but I swear I saw someone leaving the bunker as we started hopping the fence to get out of there. As soon as we got back into town, we called the police and reported the body. It was really weird, we never heard about this on the news,
but we did hear about the arrest of a trespasser on the Nike complex, and ever since then the complex has been guarded by the police.
I haven't told this story in forever and it freaks me the fuck out. Be me. Be living in a house that my family can now universally agree was haunted to shit. 6 years old. Used to always wake up in the middle of the night and run to my parents' room downstairs because I was spooked. Always saw shit in the corner of my eye when I would run downstairs from my room to theirs. Nothing extremely scary, it was just really eerie most of the time. One night I wake up from a nightmare. Scared shit less. Start making the trip to my parents' room. Everything is totally normal. Turn the corner to see the door to my parents' room. See something, walk inside. What? Walk in, 'cause my parents are in there. The thing at walked inside isn't there. Crawl into bed beside my dad. Start trying to fall asleep. Turn and look at the door. There's a figure walking towards me. Totally gray with black eyes, your stereotypical ghost, except everything about him was so vivid, like he was a real person. I don't even know. Freak the fuck out. Scream and cry and punch my dad trying to wake him up. He doesn't. The thing is getting closer. Try to fall asleep before he gets to me. 6-year-old logic, holy shit. Open my eyes. It's right beside me. Black out. Wake up and my parents are still asleep, but it's like 6 in the morning, so the sun is rising and there's light in the house. Cry in the bed until my parents wake up.
Be me, 16 years old. It's summer, so friend 2 invited us, me and friend 1, to his house in a small village in the middle of a mountain which has lakes and shit. Oh well, it's not like I have something better to do. We arrive and say that on the 3rd day we are gonna go explore the village and the mountain at night. 3rd day. We grab a compressed air rifle, a .22 and 2 survival knives because you feel badass with that on. Walking on the streets, one side of the dirt road has houses and the other one the deep mountain forest. We got lanterns and shit, so no fear. In front of a house which is full of dogs, and when we pass they all start hauling. We look at each other like, wow shit, and suddenly look into the forest. Nothing, so we keep going. End of the dirt road, only forest ahead. Fuck it, we have guns, let's go in. Walking, barely seeing shit because no LED lanterns in the middle of Nothingville. Same house with dogs, hauling in the distance starts. And then I see it, that shit. Tall, inversed knee like a cat, black and with the face of a fucking hollow from Dark Souls. We scream and open fire like some retarded armed brats. It screamed and almost blew my eardrum. We run, like we never run before, to the small mountain in the middle of the village, only a chapel there. Since it's a small village, chapel is always open even though it is nighttime and no one was there, so we enter and lock the doors. I finally have phone service, so I call the police. While speaking with the main city near Lonely Village police, they told me they will be at our location in like 20 minutes. Make it fast, goddammit. I hang up and the screams start again, making itself only closer. Dogs keep hauling in the distance. Standing against the door, crying. A bunch of people starts yelling if there is someone inside, and like the whole village, 30 people, was outside the chapel. We tell the story, some believe us, some not, and when police arrived they told them we were pranksters. Not able to go out again in the night because they thought it was all an elaborate prank. What I saw there was not an animal, and it was planning and attacking us, you could fucking sense it. We always tell the story because we love talking about it so people can explain what it was or its opinion about our situation. I always shit thinking about that monster, it makes it fairly easy.
I have one about camping in northern Michigan, if anyone wants to hear it. I won't bother typing it out otherwise. Family owns this house in the up of Michigan, on the island, cut off by the river past Houghton if anyone knows the area. House is really old, really small, but could be worth a lot since it's near Lake Superior. Me and my dad used to go camping up near the area all the time. There were some paths that would lead off to clearings, a nice area overall, not very populated or cleared out. Never seen anything creepy when I went as a child, loved the experience. B20. Want to go back to revisit the area and either camp or spend the night in the house. I drive up there intending to stay a few days or whatnot. Drive to the top of the peninsula. Take some photos which I will find soon. Eventually get to the house, unpack my stuff from the car, and hop in bed. I wake up later that night unable to sleep, and decide to get something to drink and walk around outside. Go outside with my Coke, because I do not support underage drinking. Walk around the house, it's a clear night and you can see lots of stars. Eventually walk down to the lake and sit in the sand for about half an hour just watching. Walk back up. Walk down the road to the path in the forest. Get hit with tons of nostalgia. Decide that I will pitch a tent in the old spot tomorrow night and camp for a while. Perhaps go fishing in one of the smaller lakes. Walk home. Go back to sleep. In the morning, fill a backpack with all the necessary stuff, food, fishing pole, bait, clothes, no gun because I didn't expect much to happen, and no phone, camera. Didn't think about seeing anything interesting. Hike out. It was like 15 minutes away, in the afternoon. Set up a tent. Walk around the area revisiting memories and stuff. Eat dinner I brought with me. Walk down to the smaller lake at sunset. Look out over the water. It seems like it dried up some and would be too small to find any good fish in. All of a sudden feel like I'm being watched. See some shadow move out beyond the lake. Figure it was probably an animal of some kind. Hopefully not a bear. I wasn't prepared for that. Dismissed the feeling as nerves since I normally camp with others. Wake up in the middle of the night again. Not because of sleeplessness, but because I heard something. Sounds like an animal walking around outside. Immediately think bear and freak out. As I listen closer, whatever it is moving quickly and lightly. Figure it's a raccoon and laugh it off. I literally laughed. It must have sounded really nervous, and the movement stops immediately. Still fairly sure it's a small animal, but I'm still nervous as hell. Still no sound. Figure whatever it is scampered off, but I never heard anything signaling it could have ran away. Decide to attempt to go back to sleep, as I'll never get any if I stand up and walk around. I lay down, and everything is eerily quiet. All of a sudden hear breathing. Flip the fuck out. Grab my flashlight. Run the trail in 5 minutes back home. I turned around once, and I swear I saw some white thing. Didn't appear to have any fur, behind me, but it could have easily been my flashlight beam and my nerves. Reach the door of my house. It's locked. Fuck. The keys are in the tent. Consider my options. I can either go back, hell no, not happening, sleep outside, probably not, or go visit the neighbors, if anyone's even there. I never really paid attention to them. I look around with my flashlight and see nothing. Hope whatever it is gone. I decided to try to find a place to sleep in the small garage shed thing. I rummage around looking for a blanket, or a gun. Instead I found something else. The wave of emotions when I held that object in my hand were unreal. Run back to the house with the newfound spare key. Thank you, Dad. Open it up. Slam the door. Grab my phone. It's 1 o'clock. Fuck. It's gonna be a long night. play games on my phone and watch old DVDs on the old TV, ignoring any noise I hear outside. Eventually fall asleep to some 80s movie I can't remember. In the morning, I decide I need to get my stuff, have a nice breakfast and wait until 12 o'clock noon exactly. Take the old ATV in the garage, book it out to the tent. When I get there, I see these tracks that are way too big to be a raccoon, squirrel, whatever small animal. They look really irregular and malformed as well. They come up from the lake, I assumed, but I don't see any leading away. Hope I missed them. Grab my shit, unpack my tent in record time, grab my backpack, and get the fuck out of there again. Spend the rest of the day getting ready to leave and saying my goodbyes to the house and area around, not the forest. Drive away when it's still light out. And that's the end. This was about a year ago in the fall. It was, probably, an animal or something. But man, it freaked me out, whatever it was.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.